What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel for another Lego build. So recently, I've been really remodeling a lot of the Lego room. We've been shifting a lot of displays around, and I don't want to say that we're running out of space because obviously, we have the city, we have the underneath area of the city yet. The castle in the background still has tons and tons of work to go on it. But I've been recently kind of looking around and trying to prepare for future projects, like stuff maybe even a year in advance, and it's like, all right, well, if I build a temporary display here, then I can just retire that and do something else. And when I was looking around, I kind of realized that I'm missing some very specific things from displays that I want to see, and nature and the outdoors and everything to do with that, like animals and like I said, nature and trees and greenery. I don't have a lot. The city is mostly barren of trees and plants, and we have a couple, like on sides, and in the background here we have a big old tree in an unfinished area. We have the city park, which has been relegated to like the dumpster fire that is the other area of the city, which is not going to get renovated until a little bit later in the year, when I probably buy the next modular building in my lineup. Which is either the new botanical set or like the jazz club or something, but not to ramble on about that, but basically I've been looking around the Lego room and I'm like, I don't have a lot of nature. And as of recording this is soon after we just came back from like the Columbus Zoo, and I obviously do a ton of fishing outside of here, the Lego reviews, and that's the other part of my channel, and I'm outside a lot, and I'm like, you know what, I don't have a lot of greenery aside from Harry Potter, and that's only 2 blocks, so I wanted to do something kind of cool, and I'm in the middle of a lot of bigger projects right now, between new set releases and just lighting upgrades and everything like that. So I honestly didn't have the resources for the A-frame cabin, and I've been kind of tossing around a couple ideas of what I wanted to do. Then I found this set that I forgot existed. This is the Lakeside Lodge from the Creator 3-in-1 set. We're going to be building the primary one. I bought this sealed for like $25, which is actually less than it retailed for. I won a nice eBay auction for it. But this sold all the way back in 2016 for $30. It has 1 minifigure, a moose, and 368 pieces. And it is an adorable, perfect size for 1 base plate display, little cabin / lodge. And I'm tossing around if this is going to be a singular display, and then I just build around 1 base plate, or like 1.5, whatever the bookshelf wide is. And I want to do like a little creek flowing through it. Obviously we have a moose. But what I'm really tossing around is either doing this 1 base plate and having it be like its own display, or, forgive my desk, it is a mess. I wasn't actually going to show this side of it, but ignore my massive coffee mug. Replace one of those rows with a forest display. And I've been tossing it back and forth. I honestly don't know yet. What I might do is do 1 base plate for now, get the creek design, gather some animals, gather some resources, some minifigures, and build the little scene here, and then maybe expand. But the main thing with that area of the desk, it is only like 8 inches high, maybe 9 inches at the gap, so I can't fit many tall displays. But this would almost be perfect to do a whole forest scene in there, because I could sincerely grow a lot of my work in there. It could be incredibly detailed, and I know a lot of my videos recently haven't featured myself or the background. Just been super busy, and honestly, it is super nice when I have 1 day off sometimes these weeks. We have a lot of vacations going on at work, and my job outside of here essentially has 2 full-time employees and then a bunch of part-timers. So if 1 full-timer isn't available, we kind of like, we work a lot of their shifts for them and stuff like that. So I'm going to a stretch where I have a lot of work going on, not just with the channel, but outside of here. And it's just so much easier to be able to point a camera over here and be like, there you go. you know. You can see my goofy face in other videos, but basically we're going to be starting a forest video today, and I'm super excited. We're going to be adding a lot of trees and life to this, and the more I'm talking about it, the more I feel I will be expanding this to the full row. Now, I would even like to do maybe the forest police station as a ranger station. I think that would be really neat. Essentially have some fish like trout and stuff jumping out of the water, add some frogs, buy that bald eagle Lego that I think is like $20 or something like that. But I think this is going to be a really cool scene, and it's nothing I've done before. Obviously, yeah, I have the Forbidden Forest and I have Hagrid's Hut, but I've never built a pure non-magical related forest display, so I think it's going to be pretty cool and exciting. So thank you guys so much for joining me for another Lego build. Definitely check this set out. It's pretty neat, and I'm excited to see it in person because I honestly never have. Follow me on Instagram if you want a little bit of a sneak peek into a lot of the smaller stuff that I do and a lot of the upcoming projects that they'll see a long time before you two will, just because of how I schedule things, and it's easier to post a picture than it is to post a lot of videos. So thank you all so much for who follows me on there. Like, comment, subscribe if you can. Helps the channel a lot. Now let's get started on the build, folks. Alright everybody, so here is the final build. I am still going to find a home for this, either with that one base plate, or I actually do think I'm going to be ripping out that whole section of my desk of just random displays and building a whole woodland scene. I think that's going to be pretty awesome. One idea I do want to talk about just before we get into this is regarding a Mills plated creek, but doing something a little bit different for it. So like this waterway here, kind of removing that and making like an actual creek flow through here, but for the Mills plate, instead of being the single stack, I want to hollow out the creek and then build it all with like trans blue tiles, and like 1x2 trans clear bricks and stuff like that, and actually like build it through, maybe put like fish inside of it. I think that could look super cool, but actually like hollow out an entire row for the creek to go through and then just like brick off some of the pieces. I think that would be super neat. I haven't tried that before, but I do think that is kind of the road I'm going to go down, but we'll obviously do that in another episode. I also am going to be lighting this up. The fire on the outside, the little lantern, and one light in the center should be more than enough. I mean, there's nothing really else going on, but those 3 lights would be significant enough to actually like make this, you know, much more homey. So I think that's going to be pretty cool, and I'm really, excuse me, I've had to sneeze for like 10 minutes now. It's driving me nuts. So I think those lights would look really, really nice. As for the minifigure, of course, we do have one guy in his plaid shirt and a fishing rod. Now, this is the first I've seen a brick-built fishing rod instead of like the singular piece. I actually do kind of like it. It adds a little bit of like a different model rod compared to all the other Lego fishing rods that I have, so I do think that's pretty cool. And then we have a brick-built moose. I originally wasn't going to keep it in my collection, like built like this, because I wasn't a big fan on the box. However, moose are one of my favorite animals. I recently got to see one for the first time. It was very cool. I think it's actually pretty neat. I actually really like the building techniques, and I think he's going to be staying in the forest, at least for now. I'm sure I'll be having him near a bear or something in the future, but I think that'd be pretty neat. As for the cabin itself, very simple build, but I love it. Obviously, there are a couple different options. This one was just by far and away my favorite. The other one, like this one specifically, does give a nice cabin feel. The other one, not my favorite. But this is like the original, like main model look. Like I said, we are going to be using lights to light up this little lantern here and the small fire pit that has a fish on it. Then we have a little fishing dock here as well, leading onto the water with a couple lily pads, a bucket, and a little frog. I love the little dock look. I just think it looks fantastic. And of course, his chair for fishing as well. From the outside, you have a couple deer antlers up top. I think that's very cool. More bull horns, but I would assume they're going to be deer antlers. And a shovel on the outside. We also have the start of a little cobblestone path, which is definitely going to be nice inspiration for the future. And then we have these older style window elements where they were just basically shutters, no glass, and a small pine tree. We also have a little log splitting area with a couple of logs being ready to be cut, and a little axe sitting on the side. If you rotate around the outside, you do have a small chimney, and of course the hinge mechanism to actually open this up. Inside, very, very simplistic. We have a bed, we have a small desk area, a kitchen, and there's also, I just want to see if I can get this out without breaking everything. I love simplicity behind some of this stuff. Keep that in the best I can. It's a frying pan with eggs in it. It's just adorable. I love it. I love it so much. So, got some eggs on the flat top in there. Try and put that in there the best I can. With the front door, a couple mugs, spice jar, and that is it. Like I said, it's a very simplistic, it's a little 2-bedroom cabin, but it is adorable. This little lakeside lodge. And honestly, yeah, I had no idea this set existed. And sometimes I really just like going on Brickset, or like looking at old Lego books and stuff and just seeing some sets that have been forgotten. Because obviously if you hear cabin nowadays, you're going to think of either the Alpine Lodge from the Winter Village, one of my favorite sets ever, and the A-frame cabin, which I very much want to get one day. But this was just a nice starter project for the actual woodland scene, and I'm excited. I've ordered enough to at least Mills plate this as well. So I think that's going to be pretty cool, depending on how it all comes together. Now I'm going to try and put a couple Mills plates, or a couple base plates down, and see how this actually looks next to my desk. But I'm hoping it turns out okay. If not, you know, we'll see. This might be the end of this video, but I think it's going to turn out pretty cool. It's going to give me something to work on the side real quick too. So thank you guys so much for joining me for this portion of the build. Now let's get started on the actual full-blown project. Alright, it is in an awkward angle, so I'm trying to angle my camera on my portable tripod and stabilizer just to make it a little bit easy, but this is going to be, right now it is 4 base plates long, and I did cut this one similarly to how I cut the city, just to go inside that table leg there, or I should say, shelf leg. I guess that's, since it's part of the desk, this is like the shelving area, and obviously, you know, you have the Battle of the Black Gate and my minifigures and stuff like that. You can even see my little Isaac Clarke statue, which has never been shown in this channel before, but definitely a big fan of that one. Now, overall, I like it. It's going to give me 4 base plates. It's going to give me a lot of tree work, and if you recognize this, that is from a previous video, which is building a city park in the obviously the Lego City. I don't have good space for it, and in that area of the city, a park isn't going to work, and obviously I want more greenery, like I said, in my like actual Lego room, and preferably the city, but this might be an off-site little camping center. That bag is full of dark blue 4x6, I believe, dark blue base plates. I'm going to utilize them to kind of build a creek system, and of course you have the little moose over here, but I really like it so far. I just ordered a poly bag, so next time we'll probably be adding a small poly bag to this, which is a park ranger set. I had no idea it existed until I started looking at park rangers and stuff like that, and then we're going to start doing a creek. I actually did, fun fact, add lights to this, but I'm going to wait until next time because I'm not entirely happy with it yet, but, you know, for now, it does its job for me, and I can actually like use it as like a little night light in here, which is pretty cool. For when I'm working at night, I just like to have the Lego City lights on, and I think that's pretty cool that we can light up pretty much the entire office now just with this. But 4 base plates is going to give us a lot to work on. Obviously the A-frame cabin was something I talked about in the beginning of this video, and fun fact, it will fit in here. It is about 9.5 inches tall. There's 10 inches of gap in the middle, so it would work. So I can add the A-frame cabin eventually if I would like to go down that route. For now, we'll see. I would like to do a park ranger station, but I won't be able to probably do all 3. So I'll probably build like a dense, lush forest with the creek running through, and then maybe switch like this little lodge house eventually to the A-frame cabin. Maybe have the A-frame cabin as its own thing later. But for now, I like it. It's right below Little Rings, and it's a work in progress down there. It's a mess, ignore it. It's going to be Speed Champions down there. And it's right next to the dwarf mine as well, with a bunch of fishing lures and rods and stuff everywhere because I'm relining a bunch of stuff from this weekend. But yep, that's just gonna about do it for this video, guys. Thank you all so much. I hope this isn't too wobbly. The stabilizer does not look like it's loving sitting on my leg, but it is what it is. We had to do the video somehow. But thank you all so much for starting this forest project with me. I'm really excited to have like a background besides Lord of the Rings. This is also going to be extremely colorful compared to like the very dark and depressing tones up here. So I'm really excited to have an actual forest system, and something I would like to do eventually is have like switching out areas. So essentially take away like the city portion of it, have a like a forest, and then swap out base plates to do like storytelling scenes for medieval sets and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys can hear the thunder, but as of recording this, we are getting, I think, 2 to 4 inches of rain today, and the residuals of a tropical storm / hurricane. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Driving home today was an absolute nightmare. So thank you guys so much for joining me for another Lego build. I look forward to doing the forest project with you guys in the future. If you're wondering what that one little 1x1 brick or 1x2 little brick is there, it's just to hold these two tiles together while I'm working. So thank you guys so much for everything that you do. Like, comment, and subscribe if you can. It helps the channel out a lot. Share the video if you found it interesting. I definitely always appreciate that. And last but not least, follow me on Instagram for a better sneak peek into projects like this and to definitely share your ideas with me a little bit easier. And I'll see you next time. Happy building, everybody.